I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get Karina on the Zoom with us. And so I reached out to her fearless leaders and asked them some questions. And so, I do want to share that because, it's always very important just to hear what your leaders think about you and how you're doing. So, Terrell Walker, we'll start with him. He just said, AKA Miss Kim Impossible. He said that Karina is probably, and this is the same thing that Justin said, is just the most dedicated person that he's ever seen. Okay. He said she is so driven and determined. It's not a surprise that she's one of the top producers in our company year after year. And Karina, I think it was you finished number 5 in the whole company last year.
Number 8.
Well, in the top 10.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so he said, Karina is someone that you can count on no matter where it's in her business or her personal. He said, I haven't met a single person who doesn't like her, and that's why she's such a great leader. And he said, it's time for you to hit MD. So, what, oh gosh, David Chesmore had to say, he just said, she's so consistent. There's never an excuse. He said, this girl will land from being somewhere at 2 p.m. and where a lot of people are like, hey, I just landed, I'm going to go home and rest. He said, no, she's going to go out and work a couple hours and get what she needs to get done. Okay. He said, she carries her heart on her sleeve. A great friend to everyone, not just her network, but just a great friend to everyone, and just an absolute driven woman. And so that was one of the things that I'm just absolutely, excited about. He said she's super competitive, guys. She's played a lot of sports. This was basically, like really your first job in a way. And so she has a little boy. His name's Asher. He's 6 years old. And one of the things that I've noticed with Karina is she's a big kid. So, I remember seeing the post on Facebook where they went up to ride on a water slide, and her little boy was too short to go. And she's like, buddy, I'm going to see you down here when I get down to the bottom. So she works super hard, but she's able to really enjoy the time with her little boy. So with that being said, I'm going to, Karina, let's start off with just telling us a little bit about kind of what got you coming into Family Heritage.
Yes. So hello everybody. Also I apologize in advance if I ever mind blank because I went to sleep at 2 a.m. because I was at a sheriff's office last night, or jail. So I'm tired. But so you said what brought me here?
Yeah, and I think the question that I'm going to ask on this one is, Kyle talks to us a lot about personal recruiting. And so after I watched your agent spotlight, what would you say to our agency is the power of personal recruiting? Because you were a personal recruit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's so crazy too, like, because my friend had been doing this for like a year and he just I never knew what he was doing. I met him through my ex-husband. He was in the military and we'd stayed friends, but he was one of those friends like I could go like a year without talking to and it's like no time passed by. So by the time he reached out to me, I think it had been like maybe 6 or 8 months since I had even talked to him last. But at the end of 2021, I asked for a divorce with my husband. I've been with like for 10 years. And being in the military, I didn't have to work. I was going to school, working part-time. And then I graduated pregnant and then ended up just being a stay-at-home mom, working part-time on the weekends just to get out of the house. So like I wanted to be a veterinarian. Didn't happen. So after I left my husband, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I started looking because I didn't want to be that mom that's like grinding all day and never seeing her kid, and um, makes me emotional.
Oh no, I don't want to. I don't want it to do that. But
But
guys,
yeah,
she
but
is
no, so
one that
blessed. Yeah,
perseveres completely.
yeah. But it's such a blessing just because you never know what like it could do, like the impact on your friends, and it just took like one phone call on a random day while I'm at the gym just to check in on me and talk to me. I don't even think it was meant to be a recruiting call. Like he was just calling me. And then he brought it up, and just like, this was like 3 months after I left my husband. I'm still looking for a job, and um, he threw it out to me, and I'm just like, literally, it's crazy. It checks all the boxes off. Like, it sounds too good to be true. I remember he sent me the links. I remember I got off the phone call and I literally went to Google and I was like, "Is this a pyramid scheme?" I was like, "What's Globe Life Family Heritage?" um, and then I ended up watching the videos, and I really connected with them just because I knew I always wanted to make an impact. Like, I didn't want to just exist, and but then also there's the perks that come with that, like what it did for my family. I don't have to work two jobs and worry about how I'm gonna feed my kid or go on vacations when I want to go on vacation and buy anything he wants. And um, so my quality of life has drastically changed, even for, yeah, it's been amazing. And it wouldn't have happened if my friend wouldn't have like spoke up to me about it.
So, what would be the biggest advice that you would give someone that it might have a really good friend that's doing really well in a career, right now, and they're kind of like, we have what's called this chicken list,
Oh
right?
yeah.
What would you say would be like one of the biggest things to, like, advice on, hey, reaching out to that chicken list friend? What would be some
Yeah.
advice? Because we all struggle with that. We all have those people we're scared to say, hey, this
Mhm.
is what I do.
Right. I mean, it also comes down to like, what do you do every day? Like, you talk to strangers like all day. So like, what's wrong with, and something like what we're doing is going to change their entire life if they have to use it. So like, why are you going to withhold an opportunity like that from your friends just because you're scared? Like, I know a lot of y'all don't want to walk inside of those businesses. Some of them are scary, but you still do it, hopefully. So like, why not talk to that friend or family member just to run it by them? It's kind of the same thing. Like, if it's for you, great. If not, like, at least you told them about it and gave them the opportunity to let them know something that can change their life. So like, just thinking about the other person and what it can do for them, and not how you feel.
Awesome. So we are 3 weeks down on I Dare You. So there are some agents that are, we talked about this a little bit last night, 25,000. That may seem like a big number, but when you break it down, it's super achievable. So what would be some of the best advice that you would give an agent is, let's say they're sitting at, 40, 30,000, even 30,000, maybe 35. What would
Yeah.
be the best advice you would give them right now to just kick butt and solidify I Dare You for themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, y'all aren't alone because I have not had the fastest first quarter. So I know I was talking to you earlier this week. I was still like 22 or maybe right at 20, still behind. Life has happened. But so for me personally, I try to just take the thinking out of it, and it's just going back to the basics, being student of the game, back to the basics checklist, trying to get 100, close to that as much as you can, and going to work every day, having a hard start stop time, lots of names and claims while you're out in the field, and just being time efficient. I delete social media generally throughout the day. My phone's on do not disturb. I'm not making phone calls in the middle of the day. I meal prep my food, like already ate breakfast, and then I have lunch already packed, so I'm not wasting my time when I am out in the field to be the most time efficient, because you got 3 weeks, you ain't got extra time, so no dilly dallying. um and I know like 3 weeks, even myself, like I'm just like, ooh, I mean, I know like y'all say I'm a high producer, but still it's like 3 weeks is 20K. But like, and also like, I've been kind of like in a little rut, so just like, just not thinking about it and just going to work, because the system works. It just takes like one person, one business, one referral. I know one of my new agents I trained, he had gone all week, and then on a Friday, he protected a business owner, and then that business owner gave him referral to someone else, and then he ended up writing like almost an entire eagle, like might have been right under an eagle just on a Friday, and two people, off of two people. I know back in the end of 2023, I went like 3 weeks where I was like only protecting one family, like once a week. That never happened. I never hit something like that, so I was like trying not to get in my head about it, but like just kind of just following blindly to the system and just doing everything, not letting it affect my mental, meditating, positive self-talk. And like that 4th week, I just took, I mean, I had a couple of businesses I worked with, but I just took one business and I had the biggest week in my career after 3 weeks of nothing. And I wrote 43K in a week.
Nice. Yes. Those are
um,
always great.
yeah. But it just like showing up and doing the work, not trying to put too much pressure on yourself, just pushing all the chips in on the system and being present with people, trying to connect. Names and claims really big, building the need, obviously, like the technical stuff. But I know with 3 weeks, a lot of people get that pressure in their head and kind of spiral out or don't want to get out of the car. But like, you're losing time and just get in front of people. That's your best opportunity and being time efficient with it.
Awesome. So what would you say in the cycle of the sale is your area that you are just like Karina owns this part of the sales talk?
Um, well, I just really like I know it's not a certain part, but I like how many claims I'm using throughout the presentation. I use like 4 or 5 claims generally sometimes, and um even flashing pictures of like return of premium checks, people getting their checks back. They don't teach us that, but it's just something you go to train more, you acquire little things here and there. But yeah, using claims. I know especially too with getting up until, building the need and the buying atmosphere. I always have like a strong buying atmosphere. So I know I'm not wasting my time with people. Generally, like I'm still always giving that second response, even if they give me a definite yes, just to reemphasize, like, I always tell them, like, tomorrow's not promised. And, you guys only think about this twice. It's just when I'm in front of you when you think the other time is. And
When it
um,
happens.
yeah, and then after they give me 2 definite yeses and I know they're married, I'm gonna follow up with, and I assume you're like every other spouse, like Jerry and Tim. So, but like being confident with it, so it's not like, so then it just, kind of builds trust in them too if you're mentioning other people in the buying atmosphere that are married and made a decision, but also being strong in the forefront of like you're going to get covered today. You've said yes 3 times and you said your wife, uh, you know she agrees with you too.
And I think that's something really important too. Like you just said, sometimes when we're in the field with an agent, they ask, for the definite yes or no, and then they just think it's game on after that. But asking those 2 other parts in the buying atmosphere, like, do you know why I asked for a yes or no? And you're always, what I tell agents, you're always kicking that spouse objection or that +1 out. Because if we don't, they're going to circle back around and they're going to want to procrastinate on that. So
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna open it up for anyone who want. We have about 14 minutes left. I'm gonna open up to anyone who has a question. Here's what I tell everyone: if you're thinking it, someone else probably is. So, guys, let's ask. What kind of questions do you have for Miss Karina? And if those of y'all that are gonna be in Texas, we're gonna all get to meet Asher because he's coming.
Good
Oh,
morning, Karina. What's up, Rockstar? It's Josiah. Hope you're doing awesome. But you are one of the most consistent people in the business, along with just consistently positive. So what are some of your non-negotiables when it comes to like self-talk or just routines that you do on a day-to-day basis to make sure that you stay positive throughout the day?
Yes. So I know like one small thing is like in my car. I kind of had to move it because I'm in a rental right now. But I have like my Y here on my dash. Well, I don't want to adjust, but it's on a sticky note. So I have my Y I see every day. But also I know like I'm trying to turn this around. Sorry, I'm struggling. um, Also, I know meditating. I know kind of. So some people it just sounds like stupid, but I mean it does help. Like I know on train more. Sometimes I'll meditate twice, like after 4 or 5 hours. Because I try to work until I'm working until like 7 o'clock on train moors unless I have a third shift business. So helping break that up just to like reset yourself, your mind, your body, hydrating, and then yeah, because it's just really good personal reset, and then helping yourself come to in a peaceful state, and then just being able to be more present with people has helped. Also, obviously, the music you're listening to, positive music, or if you're just sitting in silence, sometimes just turn on some good vibes, get serotonin going. I know too, like, it's just saying, positive self-talk, like, it's going to be a good day. Like, people want to see me, they want to talk to me. And, or even if it's just like you had a bad encounter, it's like, just like that person just having a bad day, you know, has nothing to do with me. And, the next person, this can change your life. Just having a positive mindset about those kind of things, like never taking anything personally, especially when you're going through bad encounters, like, because you just never know as well, like, what that person's been through, and not taking things personally to yourself. And Obviously, taking care of yourself, like meditating, is very important. So make sure you're hydrating and eating throughout the day. Or if you have your emotional support coffee, I like to sip on coffee, not for caffeine, but for the joy of it throughout the day. It brings me lots of joy. um, and I know that's kind of like simple stuff, but there's nothing like crazy special I can think of as far as that. I mean, some people,
I love it.
obviously, I know some people work out in the morning, but that's not a me thing. I know that gives people a good buzz. I wish I could be a 5 a.m. clubber, but I work out at night.
Good deal. Well, cheers to coffee.
Right, yeah.
Hey, at least you're working out, so that's a big win. Who else has some questions, guys? We got about 8 minutes.
Hey, Karina, it's Jackson. I just wanted to ask, you've been here for a while. You've seen a lot of brick walls, a lot of hardships, a lot of struggle, and a lot of success. But maybe you can give me one of your biggest, or just a few of those brick walls that you encountered, and how you came across those and how you got through it. So maybe just some of the biggest hardships that you've had, and what motivated you to get past that, or what did you implement inside your life to get through it?
Yeah. Well, I know, like, even with like the 3 weeks kind of building up to like the end right now for our period for I Dare You and stuff, it's kind of like the same exact thing. I mean, it is hard, when you hit those positions mentally. Because I know even like at the beginning of literally last year, I literally was so sad. I had like one of the lowest points in my life, probably just personally. I was very depressed, and it's very upsetting because, like, just even being 2 weeks out of work, I barely missed getting in the top 10 last year because of it. So, like, I was in a personal rut, and then going into the new year, like, I was still it was really bad. Like, I would be in my car crying. Not a lot, but it comes down to just being disciplined, and like, I'm not gonna sit in this. Like, I cried for maybe like 2 minutes at a time, and then just continuing to move and keep your mind off of like the negative thoughts and like what's going on. And because obviously all of you guys know, like, the system works, you just have, it can take time, it's just a numbers game, and just making sure you're perfecting your craft over time. But it's just having to continue to show up. That I remember, yeah, January T1 of last year, where I was at personally. I'm like, I mean, I could have went to train more, but I'm like, I'm not going to train more. I don't want to travel. And then I remember my friend Mario, he's like, sure you want to do that? You don't produce the same when you're at home. And I'm like, well, we're going to try. We're going to try. And I was crying in my car, but I still made it through the week, just doing everything I can. Like, I was waking up early, getting to work on time, working later like a train where I was working at home more. I cry in my car for a couple minutes, go back to work. And I ended up still running a double eagle that week. So Mario, obviously, not surprised, but I liked proving him wrong. Also, the fact, like, where I was in a mental space, is just like, it just takes showing up and just continuing to just put everything on the system. And sometimes we do have to take breathers and do what we have to do. But I just blindly follow everything and just push myself to keep moving and not fester on like the outside factors of everything in life, and just don't even think about numbers really. Like just think about the impact you can make, having fun with people, because we have such a great opportunity. And I know, yeah, couple weeks really sucks, when you're falling behind on your goals, or couple months. And really it's just I would say like always always trying to get 1% better every day. Like I know still now to this day, I'm always learning one little like new things. I go to train more as much as I can. I'm picking up stuff, studying, but also it comes down to like the mental factor too, of just working your way through adversity and just continuing to do the system by the book, not changing it, maybe going back to basics, making sure you are doing everything correctly. Because, once I started first training people again after a little period, I realized when I'm studying the script, I'm like, oh, I changed this a little bit. Like even just this one sentence, I ended up incorporating it back into the script. And like I could see a complete difference it was in the approach, like the demeanor of the people when I'd say that one sentence I wasn't saying. And I'm like, wow, like I haven't been saying this one sentence and it's made such a difference saying it again. So just like perfecting everything and making sure you're not straying away and just showing up. Yeah. So
That's great. I mean, we learn they always say the teacher learns more than the student does. Yeah. Okay, guys, we got room for one more question or comment. It can be a comment.
Hey, Karina, this is awesome. Thank you so much for being on today. You have made such a big impact just within your own agency and our agency and everybody in the company. And it's been awesome just seeing you just dominate every single year. And I just want to hear, like, what are some of your goals that you have within, this year, 2025, brand new year? Like, what are some of your personal and just, team goals for yourself and your team for this year?
right. So I'm trying to uh obviously I'm trying to hit market. I actually am working on like 2 personal recruits right now. One of my best friends I played soccer with, like she actually was my ex-husband's best friend, and they ain't even best friends anymore. She's my best friend and she has kids. But she's actually doing Medicare. I tried recruiting her before she got into Medicare, but got into Medicare, and she's literally talking about being a little like losing her residuals. I said, how much are your residuals? Like, she like I don't even think it's $400. It's like, girl. So I got her connected with Terrell. I have one of my personal friends right now, but I do want to hit market and just keep a consistency with my sales. But also I know for me personally, I am trying to focus on a work-life balance as well, because I'm so used to just running and gunning and being a single mom with a 6-year-old and a house and family. It has, I've overworked myself a lot. So just trying to have, it's a personal thing, like have a little bit more balance, but I'm still putting in all the work. I'm going to train more, is working longer hours. But some people have the opportunity to work more, but I do want to grow my team and then keep steady, consistent sales as much as I can. But also I know that plays into pouring into other people, which will make a bigger impact long term for them and for my family and the families out there. So like everyone's winning. And then just, yeah, focusing on my family too. So that's why you mentioned when I went to the water park, for my son's break like 2 weeks ago, I just, earned flexibility. I took off the whole week and went to Gatlinburg with my son. So, putting in the work to earn those kind of things. So that's what I want to do, something every quarter with him and not just Globe Life stuff.
Okay, awesome, guys. Well, Miss Karina, thank you so much for taking time.